Are you ready for this week's recap? Because I know I am.
Bring back my all-stars.
So we pick up where we left off last week with Alyssa Edwards being sent home, and then the remaining 5 queens going into the workroom, and Fifi O'Hara doing her usual shit talk about the queen that isn't in the room, so she thinks. And then all of a sudden, the eliminated queens pop out from behind the mirror, and basically Roxy summed it up the best. It was pretty much a Mean Girls moment with Fifi O'Hara talking all the shit about Alyssa, not realizing that Alyssa was right there.
Boo, you whore.
So, unless you're new to this gig, all the eliminated queens are returning to the competition to compete for their chance to stay. And we got to see all 4 of the eliminated queens walk back into the workroom in their 2-in-1 looks that the girls were working in the last runway challenge. And I can absolutely say Tatiana, whew, she was killing me with that awesome 1980s slick back hair and the bra reveal. Just loved it. Proved why she should still be there. And right away, after these girls all reunite, it becomes high school all over again, and Fifi and Alyssa start going at it. And the whole time that Fifi and Alyssa were having their little spat, I couldn't help but feel like I was getting a flashback to this.
You don't have any talent. This is a show for talented people, not people that know how to buy shoes. You should not be here.
Your tone seems very pointed right now.
And actually, on a side note, we'll get back to the episode in a second, but so after last week's episode, everyone knows probably by now, Fifi O'Hara took to social media saying she won't be attending the All-Stars 2 reunion, and that she is just ashamed of how RuPaul's Drag Race has made her out to be a villain, and that she really came back on All-Stars to prove to the world that she's not this crazy, psychotic orange bitch, and she feels that the editors and the producers have just made it even worse than it was before. I absolutely agree that the producers of shows definitely go out of their way to twist people's words and make them come across not as nice as they probably are. But, you know, like Roxy said at the beginning of the season, you know, she said, I came across as a bitch in my season. I'm not going to blame editing. Yeah, they took some stuff and switched it around, but those were still my words. And last time I checked, Fifi O'Hara, those were still your words. So, yes, do I think Fifi O'Hara is like this crazy bitch who deserves all these like mean tweets and threats that she's getting? Absolutely not. I mean, it's a show, people. I do this recap because I love this show. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, Fifi O'Hara is the worst person ever, but I can say I don't care for her as a character on the show. Okay, back to the episode because there's a lot to cover. So, it's 9 queens again, yay! And they all come back into the workroom for their next challenge. We find out for the main challenge this week, they will be working in pairs of 2, and they will be doing a stand-up comedy show, which we've seen that done in the past on Drag Race, and RuPaul reveals that the eliminated queens will be picking their partners for the challenge. Then, whichever team wins the challenge, the previous eliminated queen will lip sync with another eliminated queen to fight for who will decide who goes home and return to the competition. Does that make sense? I even wrote it down and I'm just like, it's a little too much for me to handle right now. Okay, so Alyssa chooses Alaska to work with because they worked together in the last challenge, and Alyssa ultimately got sent home because of how bad she did. And she wants to prove herself to Alaska that she is a good partner to have. And then Ginger chose to work with Katya. No surprise there, they were in the same season, they're really close. Tatiana chose to work with Detox, which at the time I thought was a really interesting mix. You know, they're very different personalities, but I had high hopes for them. Coco chose to work with Fifi, which that makes sense. They have a lot to bond over. They were both, you know, bitches in their seasons. They were both orange in their seasons, so right away they have a couple things in common. And then Roxy is working solo. No one wanted to work with Roxy. What's with that? No one seems to want to work with Roxy or Fifi. Last week I remember Katya was like, okay, I see Roxy and Fifi standing next to me. I'm like, where's Detox? And then this week, who was that? I think it was Tatiana that said that she didn't want to work with Roxy or Fifi. So what's up with that? So because Roxy does not have a partner, she's going to be the MC of the show. And if she wins the challenge, she will eliminate a bottom queen and decide which queen will get to return overall, which that's a lot of power to have too. So all the queens start rehearsing for the challenge, and in the middle of it all, Fifi decides to take Alyssa aside and talk it out a little bit, because I think Fifi realizes that she's a little flustered with everything going on and it might be distracting her performance in the challenge. And the whole time they're talking, it just seems like it's not getting anywhere. Alyssa is definitely pushing Fifi's buttons. Fifi's being very unapologetic and very condescending, and it couldn't help but remind me of another lovely moment in a past season.
And the Academy Award goes to...
You, Alyssa.
And then Fifi and Alyssa hug each other. And now, onto the main stage for the stand-up comedy challenge. And guess what? It's past queens! Yay! It's like a whole family reunion this episode. I wrote down a lot of the queens that I saw there, but there was a lot going on in the episode, so I didn't get to pinpoint everyone, but I do know for a fact that we saw Chad Michaels, Laganja, Trinity K. Bonet, Monica Beverly Hills, Vivian Panay, Gia Gunn, Jiggly Caliente, Mrs. Kasha Davis, Alexis Mateo, Yara Sofia, Jaden Dior Fierce, Kelly Mantle, and Pork Chop. Hey, Pork Chop! But what was with Pork Chop? She looked super pissed off the whole time. Every time they, like, zoomed in on her face, she was like... I think maybe she's finally realizing that chances are she's not going to return to the competition. So, again, Roxy Andrews was the MC of the show, so she was in charge of opening the show and introducing all the queens. And she started off okay, and then it just went downhill from there. She was, like, fumbling with her words. I think the funniest thing she probably said was, "Are y'all ready for some real comedy?" Because I think we were. I did like it when she came out as Tasha Salad, though, from Season 5. She was very funny, Tasha Salad. And I thought the light dressing joke was funny. So Fifi O'Hara and Coco Montrese, they did their little stand-up routine. And why was Fifi O'Hara pregnant? She looked like she was like... Honestly, she kind of looked like Yara Sofia. Which that's really bad, because I love Yara Sofia. But she looked like a bad Yara Sofia. Like if Yara Sofia, you know, decided to give up drag, move to the trailer park, and pop out some kids. I just thought it wasn't funny at all. I know Coco was doing her whole Dorito bit, but she's used that reference so much since her season that it's just gotten kind of old. They actually reminded me of the two girls from Mad TV.
Sing with me, stupid. What are you doing? You forgot to sing.
I'm gonna sing with you in a minute, alright?
No, but you're starting now.
You're not the boss of me, alright?
I know, but go on. Shut up, stupid. Stop talking.
Oh my god.
But they definitely weren't as funny as them. Alaska and Alyssa Edwards, they came out onto the stage, and Alaska was basically just standing there, and she was very short with her words, but they were all very funny. And then Alyssa was, reading, a lot of queens in the audience, and Michelle Visage, Alaska asked her, "What do you think of Michelle Visage?" And Alyssa went, "Beast!" And right there I said, uh-oh, Michelle is going to criticize her to death. But they were both very, very funny. They were both doing what they're really good at. Alaska had her, unique voice, and Alaska had her Alyssa-isms, I guess you could say. Ginger Minj and Katya. I thought Katya did a great job sticking with what her type of humor is, that kind of Russian hooker sense of humor. And I thought her outfit and her hair was fantastic. It looked like Lita Ford got stuck in a ginormous orgy with Twisted Sister, and it was just 80s Phantasma. Loved it. Ginger Minj. I've seen Ginger perform. I've met Ginger, and she is so funny in person, but for some reason, she just seemed very stiff. Like, she just seemed very unsure of herself the whole time. I think maybe she was really nervous about the competition she had when it came to possibly coming back into the competition. And I think that went to her head a little bit. But the big shock of the whole challenge was Detox and Tatiana, because these are two very different personalities. Tatiana's kind of like that, sweet, charming, funny, and then Detox is very like vulgar and vile and fantastic, but I think they both did such a good job together. I'm not sure exactly what their whole gimmick was, but Detox was talking as if she had a cock in her mouth, and she was being her usual self, very vile but very funny. And I thought Tatiana was hysterical. She has grown more than anyone this whole season. She was just so funny. So the top 2 teams of the week were Alyssa and Alaska, and Tatiana and Detox, which means that Alyssa and Tatiana will be lip syncing for their legacy, but also in a way lip syncing for their life, because the winner of the lip sync will get to return and then also decide who goes home. So the bottom 2 of the week were Roxy Andrews and Fifi O'Hara. Now, obviously, this means that Ginger and Coco are not returning to the competition, which I think most people watching All Stars 2 this season were really disappointed to see Tatiana and Alyssa go home so soon. So I think those were the 2 queens that it was a big toss-up for. So, like in the past episodes, the girls go backstage, and right off the bat, Fifi O'Hara is saying, "I don't have to beg to stay in the competition. If you want me, you're going to keep me, and I feel like I deserve it, so I'm not going to beg." I don't consider telling someone why you should be in a competition to win $100,000, and especially for you who's saying they want to show that they have really become a better person throughout their experience on the show. I don't get how that's considered to be begging. Alyssa and Fifi have their little discussion, and again, Fifi saying, "I'm not going to beg to stay in this competition. I have enough passion to stay here." And it couldn't help but remind me of, oh my gosh, another fabulous season 4 moment. Let's take a look.
And if I'm guilty of anything, it's the fact that I have so much heart and passion that I'm going to take my to the next level no matter what I'm doing. Pregnant, in a boat, and as a dog, because you know what? I want to win. Nobody came here to just play it safe and get by. And if that's the reason why, then you're going to leave with the other girls like how they did.
Fifi, do you not know that if Alyssa wins, she could send you home? Come on.
And I wish you luck, girl. May the best woman win.
Sure.
Like Ru says. No tea.
Okay.
Put on a fake smile for 2 seconds. Your teeth are so much better now. And then Tatiana and Fifi have their little talk, and Tatiana and Fifi are actually pretty good friends, so they're having a sweet little talk. Tatiana's trying to feel her out, and all of a sudden Fifi's like, "But Detox, I could hardly hear what you're saying in the challenge, just so you guys know." It's just hard to watch Fifi at this point. You're just digging the hole deeper and deeper and deeper, Fifi. On to the epic moment of the episode, the one that had all the hairs on my arm standing up. The lip sync. Before I even get to the lip sync, though, let's talk about Tatiana's outfit. Ooh, that was the best I've ever seen Tatiana look. She was giving me some Britney Spears circa 2009 circus tour. Absolutely loved it. She looked fantastic. And Alyssa looked amazing too. Like, these are two phenomenal queens, and you know, you got Alyssa, who is, in my opinion, the best lip syncer on the whole show. But you got Tatiana, who is just this gorgeous queen who has just grown so much. So, I mean, really, it was such a toss-up. So, the song that they're lip syncing to is Shut Up and Drive by Rihanna. Great song for both of them to lip sync to. And usually when I'm critiquing a lip sync, I'm able to say, you know, okay, this queen's obviously going to stay, or I think it might be pretty close. This lip sync, my mouth was like this the whole time. They were both phenomenal. I would put this in my top 5 favorite lip syncs ever on the show. It was like a choreographed music video. Their movements were so on point, and I was just blown away. And when it came to the defining moment of who was going to stay and who was going to remain eliminated, I had no idea. And it was really hard because I wanted Alyssa and Tatiana to go so much further than they did. So, in fact, Alyssa's probably my favorite girl in the competition, but Tatiana's also up there too. Like, it's so hard. It's so hard. And then Ru makes his decision and declares that Tatiana is returning to All Stars 2. I'm very excited about that. I'm smiling. It's really sad that my girl Alyssa isn't making it back into the competition, but I love Tatiana. I think she has so much more to prove. Again, I was sitting there thinking, why can't Alyssa come back too? But my prayers were answered, and RuPaul says, Alyssa Edwards, you are also returning to the competition. My mouth dropped. I'm sitting on the couch going, yay! Like, I'm still giddy from it. Like, I know, I'm so pathetic, I know. The two queens that definitely got booted out way too early are returning to the competition. They both absolutely deserve it. They killed it throughout the lip sync, and they both have a lot more to show. And then when it came to deciding who was going to go home, based on what it looked like, RuPaul said that Alyssa and Tatiana, both of you are deciding who goes home. If both of you have Roxy and Fifi's name, that means both of them are going home. But I'm sitting there like, there is no way either of them have Roxy's name in their bra. No way. And so Fifi and Roxy go up there, and you can just see on Fifi's face, she's just like, can I just walk off the stage? Do I even have to hear what they're going to say? And lo and behold, both Alyssa and Tatiana decided to send Fifi O'Hara home.
These are the moments that make life worth living.
This episode is quite possibly the best episode ever on RuPaul's Drag Race. I've never had so many happy emotions throughout watching one episode. Ugh, great feeling. And then, of course, as Fifi O'Hara is leaving the stage, Alyssa goes out for a hug, and Fifi, being the very, very mature adult she is, as she said in the beginning of the episode.
It's okay. Bye. Oh, love you. Mwah.
Alyssa even makes a point to say, Fifi, I tried to hug you. And Fifi goes on about some stupid thing about, I was myself, or some bullshit. It's like, okay, just, where's the door? Get her out of there. So, Preggers is gone. And Alyssa and Tatiana are back in the competition. Whew, I am so happy. This was such an awesome episode, and I'm so glad that it all went the way we were all hoping. Thank you all so much for watching my video recap of this week's episode of All Stars 2. Please subscribe to my channel, CJ Rambler, where you will find all things gay culture and, of course, RuPaul's Drag Race. And please check out my Facebook page, CJ Rambler, where you will get to keep updated on all my video posts. And be sure to like the page so that way you can like, comment, share, bash. I don't care.
Totally.
Thank you all so much for watching this fantastic episode with me, and I will see you all next week. Bye!
You know what? It's always okay to make mistakes and just know that you can always grow from them. It's never the end. You can always start over. Love you all. Fifi O'Hara. Jump in a car. Do I get this? I could at least sell this thing for like $10,000.
Boo! You suck!